You're listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sara J Loureiro.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. I am really excited about this episode today because this is something that I talk about with my group coaching clients in the Rapid Expansion Method and also with my one-to-one clients on a lot. This is probably one of the biggest things that I speak about, and I know that this is something that is just so curious for so many people, especially if you haven't signed on higher paying clients, especially if you have been afraid of charging more in your business. And I want to demystify a lot of myths that I have seen going around in terms of what a higher paying client actually is and really how to approach raising your rates or maybe attracting the right people without necessarily doing things differently. And I know that that might sound really strange to a lot of you in the beginning, but trust me, this episode is going to make a lot more sense as we go through it. So I wanted to start off by saying that I literally had no concept of what a higher paying client was when I first started out in my business either. And I want to say that it took me quite a few years to figure this out for myself. When I started my business, I didn't think anyone was going to pay me more than, I would say, like $60 for a yoga session. And it was really difficult for me to see a whole bunch of people online talking about charging more, talking about getting higher paying clients, talking about 10K months and things like that, because I just didn't think any of it was possible. And the reason why I wasn't growing the way that I wanted to grow was because I wasn't in the level of belief. And so stepping into that level of belief and really understanding that those people are out there, that there are people who are willing to pay you more and they really want to pay you a great amount to see the transformation that you're willing to provide them is such a freeing thing in business. And I think that when we are in a scarcity mindset, we can't see past the scarcity. And so one of the biggest things that you can start off with is just putting yourself into new levels of belief and levels of possibility. And one of the ways that you can do this is literally just by shutting your computer off and doing something that makes you feel really good. So whether that is, going for a walk, going to the mall, spending some time with friends, like just doing things that bring you joy, getting yourself into a creative headspace that will really help you to open up your possibilities. And of course, we also need to deal with your subconscious beliefs, limiting beliefs, and really reprogramming a lot of the beliefs that you have had throughout your entire life that have really been blocking you from being able to attract higher paying clients. And so when I first started out in business, and I really didn't think anyone could or wanted to pay me more than, like maybe $60. That was like probably the highest I ever thought possible. It took me a while of really expanding, really listening to new mentors, listening to podcasts, and getting really inspired by the whole idea of, okay, well, maybe I can have a really high quality brand that people are attracted to. But I was also really confused as to how these people were going to see me as an authority figure, how these people were going to see me as someone who could be paid higher, right? And what I failed to understand is that a higher paying client isn't necessarily like a demographic or someone who you put in an ideal client avatar. It's a vibe and it's an energy. And once again, this might sound really weird for some of you. Some of you might be like, oh, this makes total sense. I'm loving this episode. But I didn't believe in higher vibes and higher energies before I really started doing this work, which is why I talk about it so much now, because I just feel like it's so, so powerful. But at the time, I was literally like, okay, well, higher paying clients are people who make more money, right? So I was trying to put my Facebook ads towards people in specific zip codes, or trying to think, okay, well, what does luxury branding look like, right? Like, how can I, maybe try to showcase to people that I understand what designer brands are? How can I look for people who, might look like they're in bigger houses? And I say all of this with full transparency just because of the fact that I know that some of my clients have also, once again, told me the same thing, like, oh, I need to go into this specific area of my city in order to find higher paying clients. I need to showcase this part of me in order to find higher paying clients. And it really has nothing to do with how much money that person is making. The amount of money that someone makes does not make them a higher paying client. The amount of purchasing power that that person has does not make them a higher paying client. What makes someone a higher paying client is the transformation level that they believe that they can receive. And so if someone has a transformation level that they believe that they can receive that's higher on a vibrational level, so if they truly believe that they can vibrate higher and they can really transform their life for the better from where they are now, then you also want to get yourself into a higher level of vibration. Now, what does that even mean, right? How do I get myself into a higher level of vibration in order to attract someone who's at that higher level? Someone who believes and aspires to create really incredible change for themselves is going to be looking for a mentor who has the level of confidence and conviction that they can give that to them. And so confidence and conviction really have nothing to do with your level of experience or the amount of credentials that you have. Confidence and conviction have so much more to do with how much you are willing to bet on both, one, yourself and how good you are at what you do, two, what you truly believe your calling is and how your business and the services that you're providing directly relate to that calling, but also how this really, once again, affects or is going to bring in this person who truly believes this is possible for them. So the third aspect of this really is betting on that person and betting on the fact that that person, so that higher paying client, is also in that level of belief and they can hold that level of belief for themselves. Because you don't really need to convince someone, and no one needs to be convinced of the level of work that you do when they're already in a belief of themselves that they can get to where they want to go. And if you've felt this for yourself, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So you could be on a sales call with a coach or on a sales call with whoever, and you can try to be asking that person for a guarantee for what you're doing. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that it's also up to you, right? It's also up to you in terms of how much you're willing to work and how much you truly believe that it's possible for you. So when I, for example, sign up with someone new to work with, yes, I ask them about previous clients. Yes, I ask them about testimonials. I ask them about their processes, all of that kind of stuff. But ultimately, if I decide to say yes to that person and invest money in working with someone new, it's not just about what that person can do for me, but it's also I trust and believe in myself enough for me to actually put in the work and for me to get the results that I want, because my results aren't just based on my coach. They're not just based on my mentor. They're not just based on the person that I'm hiring for done for you services. And so what you need to understand about this higher paying client is that they have that level of belief within themselves. And if they have that level of belief within themselves, they're going to start to really be attracted to someone and someone's content and copy that's also calling them in, right? So a desperate client with desperate energy is going to come to you, and they're going to need to hear all of the validation and reassurance. And they're going to be the type of person who's just like, okay, can this work for me? I'm so afraid that it's not going to work for me. And they're going to need a lot of convincing. Versus someone who already knows that it's possible for them and already knows their level of capability. they're going to look for someone who's only validating those levels of what they know to be true about themselves. And so if we start to look at this from like a higher vibe, higher level perspective, now it doesn't become about, okay, well, how much money is this person making? Or, like, what does this person already purchase for themselves? It becomes more about, what does this person believe is possible for them? And how am I meeting them there by also stepping into my own leadership? Really, what this is about is your own self-leadership. It's about understanding and recognizing that you are that ideal person for them and that you can help them get to those really amazing goals. It also, once again, is that level of confidence that you want to have within yourself. So what we want to do with this and the way that you want to attract these higher paying clients is really understanding this, but also applying this to your own energy and applying this to your own energy levels. So if you are not investing in your own business because you don't believe in your business or because you're in a level of scarcity, that's a very different vibe and a very different energetic attraction from someone who's just like, yes, I believe in myself. So by you being scarce, you're going to attract scarce people. But by you being abundant and open to your own possibilities and investing in yourself and investing in your business and working from a place of belief, you're going to attract people who also work and operate from a place of belief because like attracts like. This is an energetic attraction. You cannot go into your business and sign on higher paying clients when you're constantly in a place of scarcity, because it comes off in your content. It comes off in the way that you show up. It comes off in the way that you say things. It comes off in the way that you discount your services. And so it's not necessarily just something that you do. It's something that you believe and you think first, because what you want to do in your business is operate from the heart center first and then go into your belief systems and go into your thoughts. And once you go from heart to head, then from your head, you can start to create the decisions and really choose the way you live on a day-to-day basis, choose the decisions that you're making in your business, choose how you want to show up in your business from a place of the full belief that you are worth it and that your clients are worth it. And that's ultimately the biggest piece to attracting those higher paying clients. It's not what their postal code is, what their zip code is, how much money they're making. It's more about what is it that they believe to be true about themselves and what do they believe is possible for them and how can you meet them there? And that really requires so much more courage on our part as the business owner. It requires so much more courage. It requires so much more conviction, but it also requires a level of worthiness that we need to feel within ourselves that yes, we are the chosen person to lead this other exceptional person through this journey with us. And once you get into that space, you are that person. It's not that you're an imposter. It's not that, oh my goodness, they're going to see behind this. It's no. You fully transformed yourself and you fully transformed your own thoughts and your own energy so that you're now at that level that that other person is at. Now, that's the energetic part of it. And that's a huge part. And so many people ask me, well, how do I get there? How do I get there energetically? There's so many different things that you can do in terms of stepping outside of your comfort zone, getting into a place of being, doing things that make you feel really good. But ultimately, you need to also work through your subconscious programming of your limiting beliefs of what your parents told you that was true about money, about scarcity, about abundance, about worthiness that you're now taking into adulthood, whether you realize it or not. But then, of course, there are strategic ways to go about this as well. And so making sure that your messaging is on point, making sure that your packaged rates are on point to attract that higher paying client, making sure that you have consistent content going out in your socials, making sure that you have really great sales processes where you really understand how to overcome people's objections. And ultimately, knowing how to grow your community as well is so, so crucial to make sure that you're actually getting out there and finding those people, because your own circle of friends or your family or your extended family or the people that you know from corporate, those might not be the right people for your business. And so you really need to understand and know how to get out there and how to grow so that you can find these new people as well. So it's a combination of the strategy and the energy work, but I would definitely say that a huge part of this, and the first part of this, is getting into that energy energetically before you do anything else. So what you really want to be doing is essentially be the vibe, be the change, right? Be the change that you wish to see in the world. By Gandhi. I love that quote. I've always loved that quote. And I used to love that quote in terms of really helping other people who are less fortunate. But now I also see that quote in terms of, if you want to have a change in your business, if you want to make a change in the world, if you want to make more money, if you want to attract higher paying clients, you need to be the change. You need to create the change first, and you need to create the change on an internal level. And I can promise you, once you do all of this work, you're going to see that big change. And there's going to be a lot of shedding that you're going to need to do. But once again, if you can open up your brain to a new level of abundance, then you can start to see, and these people are just going to come at you, and they're going to start to come, and they're going to start to become attracted to you because they want that thing that you have. And a lot of the times they won't even be able to quite pinpoint it, because it's not going to be, oh, I decided to sign up with you because you talked about this one thing in your content, or this one strategy that you're doing I really like. It's mainly going to be, I decided to work with you because I liked your energy, and because you have the type of life that I want to have, or you have the type of health that I want to have, or there's something about you that I know that I need to learn from. And once you can master that, okay, then the strategy pieces become so much easier. So I'd love to hear how you are implementing everything that I've spoken about in this episode. Honestly, this has been a huge game changer for me at the energetic level in terms of really growing and up-leveling my business. So I'd love to hear how this works for you. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Sara without an H, J Loureiro. And let me know how you enjoyed this episode. If you know of a friend who needs to hear this, feel free to forward this along to them and share the love. And of course, I would absolutely love it if you hit subscribe and left me a 5-star review. It'd be so helpful to make sure that more people get to know about all of the amazing concepts that I keep on talking about in this podcast. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarajloureiro.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.